Hello everyone, I am Dazzle Joyhanito from BSEd Social Studies and I am here to report and discuss about case law or jurisprudence and ordinance, which are these two are included in the sources of the Philippine educational jurisprudence. So let us have our objective first. First is to determine and understand the legal sources of the Philippine education. To fully understand all the laws that give every Filipinos the freedom to learn and to be educated. The third is to know the rights of the students and the teachers under the law provided by the state. So what is a case law? A case law is the collection of past legal decisions written by the courts and similar tribunals in the course of deciding cases in which the law was analyzed, using these cases to resolve ambiguous for deciding current cases. In some jurisdictions, case law can be applied to ongoing adjudication, for example, criminal proceedings or family law. In addition to the guidelines themselves, case law helps to inform our understandings of how the guidelines works in a particular jurisdiction. Case law is the law that is derived from the decision issued by the judges in the cases before them in court. The case law adds to our understanding of the guidelines when the court interprets aspects of guidelines that may be unclear or when the court makes a decision about how the guidelines should be applied to a case with a particular set of the facts. It also pertains to law that comes straight from court decisions, and it is consisting particularly of the judicial interpretations of the constitutions. As at the two or the common law, it is also includes Supreme Court and lower court decision. Here are some of the Philippine educational jurisprudence. The first is 1935 Constitution of the Philippines, Article 14, Section 5. So this is what it says. All educational institutions shall be under the supervision of a subject to regulation by the state, and the government shall establish and maintain a complete and adequate system of public education and shall provide at least free public primary education and citizenship training to adult citizens. All schools shall aim to develop moral character, personal discipline, civic conscience, and vocational efficiency, and to teach the duties of citizenship. Optional religious instruction should be maintained in the public schools as now authorized by law. Universities established by state and shall enjoy academic freedom, and the state shall create scholarships in arts, science, and letters for specially gifted citizens. So basically, this constitution indicates that states shall regulate and supervise all educational institutions, and it is the part of the government to create and organize a system that is a complete and adequate. 1973 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, Article 15, Section 8 indicates that the study of the constructions shall be part of the curricula in all schools. So it is indicating that its constitution shall be applied to the curriculum of the all schools. First, all educational institutions shall be under the supervision of and subject to regulation by the state. The state shall establish and maintain a complete, adequate, and integrated system of education relevant to the goals of the national development. Second, all institutions of the higher learning shall enjoy academic freedom. Third, the study of the Constitution shall be part of the curriculum in all schools. Fourth, all educational institutions shall aim to inculcate love of the country, teach the duties of the citizenship, and develop moral character, personal discipline, scientific, technological, and vocational efficiency. So meaning to say, schools must teach the students to love the country and the duties of the citizenship, and students must develop moral character and personal discipline. There should be a scientific, technological, and vocational efficiency. The fifth is, the state shall maintain a system of free public elementary education, and in areas where finances permit, establish and maintain a system of free public education at least up to the secondary level. So, this is implying that students of all these countries should receive a free education at least up to the secondary level. The sixth is the state shall provide citizenship and vocational training to adult citizens and out of the school youth and create and maintain a scholarship for poor and deserving students. The seventh is educational institution other than those established by religious orders, mission board, and charitable organization shall be owned solely by the citizens of Philippines or association, 60% of capital of which owned by the such citizens. The eighth is an option expressed in the writing by the parents or guardians and without cost to them, and the government religion shall be taught to their children in the public elementary and high school as may provided by the law. Section 1 of this article is that the state shall protect and promote the right of all citizens to quality education at all levels and shall take appropriate steps to make such education accessible. Section 2. The state shall: first is to establish, maintain, and support a complete, adequate, and integrated system of education relevant to the needs of the people and the society. Second, establish and maintain a system of free public education in the elementary and high school levels without limiting the natural right of parents to rear their children. Elementary education is compulsory for all children and school age. The third is to establish and maintain a system of scholarship grants, student loan programs, subsidies, and other incentives which shall be available to deserving students in both public and private schools, especially to the underprivileged. The fourth is to encourage non-normal, informal, and indigenous learning system as well as the self-learning, independent, and out-of-school study programs, particularly those that respond to community needs. And the fifth is provide adult citizens, the disabled and out-of-school youth with training in civics, vocational efficiency, and other skills. Section 3. All educational institutions shall include the study of the Constitution as part of the curricula. They shall inculcate patriotism and nationalism, foster love of humanity, respect for human rights, appreciation of the role of the national heroes in the historical development of the country, teach the rights and the duties of the citizenship, strengthen the ethical and spiritual values, develop moral character and personal discipline, encourage critical and creative thinking, broaden scientific and technological knowledge, and to promote vocational efficiency. At the option expressed in writing by the parents or guardians, religion shall be allowed to be taught to their children or wards in public elementary and high schools within the regular class hours by instructors designated or approved by religious authorities of the religion to which the children or wards belong, without additional cost to the government. Section 4. The state recognizes the complementary rules of the public and private institutions in the educational system and shall exercise reasonable supervision and regulation of all educational institutions. Educational institutions other than those established by religious groups and mission boards shall be owned solely by the citizens of the Philippines or corporations or associations, at least 60% of the capital of which is owned by the such citizens. The Congress may, however, require increased Filipino equity participation in all educational institutions. All revenues and assets of non-profit educational institution used actually, directly, and exclusively for educational purposes shall be exempt from taxes and duties. Upon the dissolution or cessation of the corporate existence of the such institutions, their assets shall be disposed of in a manner provided by the law. Subject to conditions prescribed by the law, all grants, endowments, donation, or contributions used actually, directly, and exclusively for educational purposes shall be exempt from the tax. Section 5 states that the state shall take into account regional and sectoral needs and conditions and shall encourage local planning in the development of educational policies and programs. Academic freedom shall be enjoyed in all institutions of the higher learning. Every citizens have a right to select a profession or a course of study, subject to fair, reasonable, and equitable admission of the academic requirements. The state shall encourage the right of the teachers to professional advancement. Non-teaching academic and non-academic personnel shall enjoy the protection of the state. The state shall assign the highest budgetary priority to education and ensure that teaching will attract and retain its rightful share of the best available talents through adequate remuneration and other means of job satisfaction and fulfillment. Ordinance. What is ordinance? Ordinance is a law set forth by the government authority, is physically a municipal regulation. Ordinance applied to an order governing some detail of procedure or conduct enforced by a limited authority such as a municipality. An ordinance is enacted by the local legislative council authorizing the local chief executive in behalf of the LGO to exercise the power of eminent domain of the pursue exploration proceedings over a particular private property. So there are usually laws that are enacted or fulfilled and implemented by a local government units such as municipality. So this happens in the lower branches of legislation branch of our country, usually again in municipal level or sometimes in our barangay level. It is refers to the Republic Act number 10533 or otherwise known as the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. As expanded the years of schooling and basic education from 10 years to 12 years. The Republic Act 10533 has mandated the Department of Education or DepEd to formulate programs to enact the above-mentioned provision of the law. Rule number 1. Generation Provisions. Section 1. These rules and regulations shall be referred to as the implementing rules and regulations of the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013 or the Republic Act number 10533. Section 2. Scope and Application. The provision of this IRR shall primarily apply to all public and private basic educational institutions and learning centers. This Republic Act of number 533 shall also apply to higher education institutions, technical vocational institutions, duly recognized organizations acting as teacher education institutions and foundations. Section 3. Declaration of the Policy. This IRR shall be interpreted in the light of the declaration of the policy found in Section 2 of the Act. Section 4. Definition of terms. For purposes of this IRR, the following terms shall be mean or be understood as follows. First is the Act refers to an Act number 10533, an Act enhancing the basic education system by strengthening its curriculum and increasing the number of years for basic education, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, otherwise known as the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. Number 2. Learning-centered refers to a physical space to house learning resources and facilities of a learning program for out-of-school youth and adults. It is a venue for a face-to-face learning activities and other learning opportunities for community development and improvement of the people's quality of life, and this may also be referred to as community learning centered, authorized or recognized by the DepEd. The third is learner. Learner refers to a pupil or students or to a learner in an alternative learning system. The fourth is the mother language or the first language. It refers to the language or languages first learned by a child, which he or she identifies with and is identified as the native language user of by others, which he or she knows the best or users most. This includes Filipino Sign Language used by individuals with pertinent disabilities. The regional or native language refers to the traditional speech variety or variety of Filipino Sign Language existing in the region, area of place. The fifth is the non-DepEd public school. This refers to a public school offering basic education operated by an agency of the national government other than the DepEd or by a local government unit. So that's include for my discussion today, hoping that you gain knowledge and learning of this particular topic. Thank you and God bless.